Okay, good afternoon, all of you world travelers. I am so excited about this trip. And with us today is Teresa Harden with Aventura World Travel, and she's going to provide us with a briefing on Egypt, the land of pharaohs. And we just got all of our information from Natasha, and I was looking over some of that information earlier, and I really got excited. So, Teresa, take it away.
Okay, thank you so much, Tish. Well, thank you to the Hancock Chamber of Commerce and for doing this with Aventura World. We partner with chambers all over the country, and we are excited to be going to Egypt with you. Your trip is October the 20th, and I've been to Egypt twice, and I would go tomorrow with you if I could. It is so different. It is the past. We're talking thousands of years the past. It is the present and it is the future. And I really don't know of any other country that does it as well as they do, because they still keep everything the way it was thousands of years ago. Many people live that way still. Then they have the present, and then they have the future with all sorts of wonderful things as well. And one of their museums is absolutely incredible. It's the most futuristic type of place you could ever be in. So I think you will really enjoy this. If you get to ride the camels, climb all over the pyramids. Just breathe the air in of everything that this country is available for you to learn about. And of course, the antiquities and the pyramids and the Valley of the Kings and all these other places will just make you even more I don't know whether it's understanding or wanting to go back again and see more of it. So you all leave October the 20th. It looks like a few of you are on your own air. Others are all going about the same time. And it will be an overnight flight that you leave from. And I believe you're leaving from, is it, I've turned my page here beforehand, but
New Orleans.
New Orleans, right? Okay. And so you will go on to your overnight flight, and they will give you a dinner, and they will give you breakfast, and they give you snacks in between. So you should be good with all the food. I'm going to go over some of the particulars. We ask you to check in, first of all, at least 3 hours ahead of time for your initial departure in New Orleans. There's a reason for that. You will probably get your boarding passes for a good portion of your trip, and you want to make sure that your seating is going to be comfortable. And if you go 3 hours beforehand, you will find that you have a better opportunity of changing a seat if the seat you have been assigned you do not care for. So that is one of the reasons we ask you to do that. Also, group travel, they you can call the airlines now that you have your e-tickets and things, and you can ask customer service, and the information is in this booklet, to change your seating, but quite often they will charge you more for changing the seating. So those are things to remember. So you're going to leave New Orleans, and you're going to go on overnight flight. And when you land in the airport in Cairo, you are going to go pick up your luggage, and then you'll go through customs. And when you get out of customs, you will go through the exit door, and your Aventura World representatives will be there. And I say there will be probably more than one. They do it a little differently in Egypt than in other countries. There's usually a couple of them to help you with your luggage, to help you get it loaded on the motor coach, and they'll check you in as well. So if you are towards the end of the line going through customs, don't worry. They're going to be watching for you and waiting for you. And they're going to be looking for these lanyards. And I think if you guys can see me, I'm going to hold it up. Um, you must put these on when you're departing the plane. So please put it on your carry-on luggage. They're really pretty cool. You can open them up and put your money in if you wish, or a card. You'll be wearing them a good portion of the time. You can put a pen back in here. Right here, you put your name, and they have given you a card like this, and I think you can see it. And you just write the name you want to be called. So if you have a nickname that people have called you all along, and that's what you answer to, or whatever you want to be called, you put that in. Okay, and be prepared to have them on your carry-on luggage so that you will put them on just as you leave the plane in Cairo to go through customs and to go through and then go to your tour director. You're also going to have these luggage tags. I hope you can see them. You have two. We ask you to put one on your checked luggage. Even if you have other identification, put one on there and put one on one of your carry-on pieces. And you are allowed to have one checked bag per person, and it could be no heavier than 50 pounds. Honestly, if you have 50 pounds, you've got too much, you're probably not going to wear it. And you're going to find it very heavy and awkward if you have to help carry it or move it around. What we usually suggest you do is pack and then walk around the house with it, carrying it, not rolling it on its wheels, but carrying it. And if it's too heavy for you to carry, you've got too much stuff. So go back, lay out and take out some things. Okay, you want to be able to bring some of your souvenirs or things that you bought at the in Egypt. So you want to be able to pack them in that luggage. So you want to make sure it's not 50 pounds. If you are over 50 pounds, there is usually a minimum of $100 charge extra for those 50 pounds, and it can be 1 pound over and they'll still charge you. Okay, so remember that. In your carry-on luggage, you want to make sure that you have carry-on. You can carry a purse and or a backpack, and then a smaller piece of luggage. Usually it's around 21, 22 inches high at the most. It's, the smaller pieces that you get with your larger, when you get a group of luggage. You'll want to put in there copies of your passport, copies of your credit cards. You'll want to put in, obviously, your personal items, toothbrush, toothpaste, those types of things, medications. And you might want to, and I would suggest you do, put in at least 1 day's change of clothing. Right now, it seems that the airports or the airlines, we don't know who, are losing about 15%, so 15% of luggage. And some days it doesn't turn up for weeks or months. Other days it's just a few days. So we suggest you at least have one change of clothing in that carry-on luggage, because that will help you. If for some reason your luggage does not appear within a few days, you can file a claim. And if you have insurance, that is one of the main reasons why you have insurance on this trip, is if you need to file a claim and buy new clothing while you're there. So that is something to consider and to think about. So we're going to go through this, and I'm going to try go through it quickly. I'm not going to read it word for word. You should all have this little packet, and we ask you to please go over it, even though I'll go over most of it with you. And we ask you also, you might want to take it with you. It just will be easy for reference if you need to. So the first thing to remember is that you need a passport. If you are a U.S. citizen, you do not need a visa. But you will get a visa when you get to the airport. So it's funny. It's about $25. They'll want cash, and you pay in American money, and they don't want any bills that look like they've been in the washing machine or in your jean pocket for about 6 months or anything like that. So they want crisp looking bills. You pay in US. It's about $25. And when you're on the plane, they are going to give you a form to fill out. And then when you get to when you go into customs, they'll just ask you for it, and you give it to them, and you give them the money, and they stamp your passport. Okay, so that's how it's done. You can't get it online early or anything like that. It's easier and quicker to just do it the way we're suggesting. So you will also find that when you check in 3 hours earlier at New Orleans, you will also then get your boarding passes for pretty much a good portion of your trip. And so for the main portion anyway, if they don't give it all to you, they will give it to you in the next step. So if you're going through JFK or Chicago, depending which way you're going through, then they'll give you the other boarding pass for it there. But you want to be early, and you want to get those boarding passes. We sent out e-tickets to Tish, and I'm sure she's probably given them all, sent them to you. Those e-tickets are how you get onto the plane, and you don't want to lose it. So I suggest you print a copy also and put it in that carry-on luggage or in your purse or backpack, somewhere where it's easily accessible, so that when you check in at the first check-in at the airport in New Orleans, you have it. You can have it on your
Okay.
phone also, but sometimes phones don't work somewhere, and you probably will need that copy then. So just
So
keep that
let
in
me interrupt you, Teresa. I have not forwarded any of that information to our
mind.
travelers.
Okay,
Did not realize I was supposed to do that. I thought
okay.
that was just for my information. So after this call, I will do that because that's why I got so excited because I looked at my own travel information.
Okay, not to worry. We
Sorry about
still
that,
have.
guys.
It's okay, and this is why we do this pre-trip orientation, to make sure that everything goes smoothly for you. Also, not to worry, and you have lots of time. But I want people to check when Tish, when you send out the e-tickets. Everybody, please check your e-ticket. Make sure your name is spelled correctly, first and last name. It must be exactly as your passport. Okay, you cannot deviate. You cannot have a short name or anything like that. Now, your middle name, it doesn't matter. Okay, so it's your first name and your last name must be exactly as the same as your passport. If in your middle name they put your initial, that's fine. If they spell it out part way, that's fine. They're not worried about that middle name at all. But the first and the last name must be exactly the same as your passport. Okay, so please, everybody, you want to check that and make sure. If it's not correct, let Tish know right away, and give her the correct spelling. And Tish, what you need to do is just forward it to Natasha, okay, so that she will be able to make that change right away. Okay, and that is important that we get that done as soon as possible. For the information, your passport must be good for 6 months, so it must be current for 6 months after the day you return. So please, again, take a look at your passports and make sure that on the day you return, so if you're returning on the if you're not going on any extension, and I don't think any of you are, then you will all be coming back on October 29th. So that means your passport should be good 6 months plus the day following, so the 30th will be the day that it should be good up until. Okay, so just make sure of that as well. We had someone find out the other day that they had somehow missed it, and they're now trying to get a passport quickly, and that's very hard to do right now. Okay, airline seating, we try our best to get you the seats that you asked for. So if you ask for an aisle or if you ask for a window seat, we have asked the respective airline, could we please have that seat for them? They don't guarantee it. Sometimes they follow through, sometimes they don't. That's another good reason why you want to go 3 hours early to the airport, because that's where then you can negotiate and get another seat, and it will be ahead of the people that are coming on the plane after you, generally, because we're usually the first ones to check in for those types of flights. Okay, I've gone over the e-tickets. As I said, when you get them, check them, and then I would suggest you print them out as well. Make a copy for yourself, put it in your carry-on luggage, and you'll have it just in case that phone for some reason dies on you, or there's no Wi-Fi all of a sudden or something, just so you've got it. So we're also going to cover a lot of other areas. The coaches are very comfortable. They are air conditioned. Your weather will be probably in the 90s. Might be like we're having in Texas and Louisiana and everywhere else right now. But the coaches are air conditioned, very comfortable. You can put the chairs back a bit, rest. They have foot rests. They've got a place for you to put any parcels anything you purchase up above, and they've got a little net thing for drinks that you can put in. And we stop often at local places to get sodas or other drinks, water, things like that. So you'll have time always to get up and stretch around and everything else. Some of the motor coaches have restrooms on them, not all of them, but they stop often enough that usually it's with every hour, hour and a half they stop. So you should be able to be comfortable still. Okay. Your motor coach also will take you to the river. Actually, you fly to the river cruise, but then your motor coach follows you, and they will pick you up each day and take you for the day.
Okay, let me ask everybody to mute themselves while she's talking, please.
Thanks, Tish. So smoking is not allowed on the motor coaches, obviously for the health and comfort of everybody. But they do smoke in Egypt, and there are areas. So when your bus, a motor coach stops to get drinks for you all, or a bathroom break or something like that, there's always a designated area that you can relax and have a cigarette if that's something you want to do. Our hotels, we choose the hotels that you stay in because of the previous customers we've had. So at the end of your trip, you will have an evaluation form that we ask you to send in to us. And we ask you to be really brutally honest. Did you like the trip? Did you like the hotel? What you liked or didn't like? And with all of that information, we then continue on with either contracting with the hotels we do now have, or we go on with other hotels. So again, those things we need to know from you, just tell us. That's how we determine what we're going to be, who we're going to be using. Our hotels that we use are beautiful though. In fact, some of the most beautiful hotels I've seen anywhere in the world happen to be in Egypt. There is a lot of money. The wealthy people are very, very wealthy there, and a lot of the hotels are absolutely gorgeous. Your hotel that you will stay in Cairo, the first night or so, it's beautiful. There's lots of good restaurants in the area. It is, as we explained to some folks, it's does not have any liquor license of any sort, but there are restaurants right within walking steps that do have, and then there's a hotel across the street, the Four Seasons, that you can go to as well. But the hotel itself is a beautiful hotel, has some great restaurants also in it, with some unusual types of food, and then of course the regular things that Americans like as well. Your tour directors, when you get off your plane in Cairo and when you go through customs, you go out the exit, and your tour director will, or the directors, there'll probably be two, will be waiting for you. And they will have a sign that either says Hancock Chamber of Commerce, or chances are they'll have a sign that says Aventura World. And they'll be watching for you with those blue lanyards as well, to make sure they don't lose you or that you don't go the wrong way. And they'll get everybody together. You do have two other chambers that will be traveling with you. You have Piqua Chamber, which has three folks. I think it's a family that's coming with you. And then you have the Myrtle Beach Chamber, and they have a few folks also. So it'll be a nice busload, actually. And I know with my groups, when I go and take them, we love meeting other chambers. So it's fun to find out what your chamber does and what they don't do. And you make some great friends as well. So I hope you all enjoy them. I think you will. So your tour directors, they will be your hosts, and they will stay with you on 99.9% of the trip, if not all of it. And they are there to help you. They stay at the hotels with you. They have your phone numbers, but they also will give out their phone numbers. So if you have an emergency, if you need them, if you have a question, they will help you. And then every day, as the day ends, when you're coming back to your hotel or to the riverboat, they will tell you what your next day is going to be like, what you're going to be doing, what time you have to get up, where you're going, what you'll be seeing. If they think there's something that you should wear, they'll tell you that type of thing. And then they will put it in the lobby on the riverboat. So when you go, when you board the riverboat, you'll see there's an area, and they'll put that in for you there. So if you get busy and you are doing things for the evening and you kind of forget about it, then before you go to bed, you can always slip down to the lobby and see what time you have to get up and where you're going and things like that. Sometimes we change your destination. We may have one day scheduled for one part of the trip, and then for whatever reason, we may change it. Sometimes we'll start a little early in the morning because of the heat. If they know that there's going to be a really hot day, they'll start you earlier in the day so that you don't have to deal with the heat, and so that you get back to the hotel and you can relax in the swimming pool, and or go have a drink at one of the restaurants or something like that. So please be flexible with them as well. They're great group of people. I've actually been able to have the same tour guide a number of times now, and you get to know them personally, and they're really helpful and very caring, and they want you to have the best time ever. Okay. So also those of you that are traveling on your own with your own air, and you just purchased land, you probably know a little bit about it. But for those of you that don't, if you wanted to stay longer in a country, the next time you go with us somewhere, and if you wanted to stay a few extra days in that country, you can do so. And generally speaking, there's no change in price. We work with you on when you want to come back, and we would set it at the same time, probably similar day, a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever the prices are, similar that day. But you can stay for up to 3 weeks a month if that's something you want to do, and we can help you do that. But you have to say that and give us dates and things like that when you register, when you initially register. Your meals on your program, you will have a lot of your meals provided for you, and the chefs on the riverboat are excellent. This riverboat it's not a brand new riverboat, but it's a very comfortable riverboat. I've traveled a couple times now. They have a shop in there, a number of shops. They have a jewelry store which has some beautiful jewelry, and they're all different prices, some lower priced items and then higher ones. They have a store that has a lot of you would say maybe costumes, dresses, shirts, blouses, different things that are actually Egyptian styled, and you can purchase those, and their prices are excellent. You will have an Egyptian night where you all get dressed up, and so that little store provides you with all the things you want to get dressed up in, and it's a lot of fun. It really is. They have a great lounge. It's open all the time there. You will be able to also go up on the upper deck there and sit out with under the umbrellas and float down the river, the Nile, and enjoy a beer or wine or whatever you want, or food, different things like that. So I think you'll find this is really enjoyable. They also have a swimming pool on the upper deck. It's not huge, but it's wonderful to cool off in, and we all took advantage of that all the time as well. So you'll see that. So your meals, you always have breakfast. You'll always have breakfast on the riverboat, and then or in the hotel, whichever wherever you are. But then and you will have lunch pretty much always, and dinners included in every part of this trip. So they will, and if they take you for a day excursion, the lunch will be provided at a really nice restaurant. There are a couple of really nice restaurants you go to where they wait for you to come, and they're so excited, and the chef prepares the best food he can for you. And they also take into consideration if people have special diets and things like that. They're very, very accommodating as well. So for staying connected on your trip, we suggest that you obviously take your iPhone and your Kindles and iPads and computers and things. Wi-Fi is slow. On our slowest day here, that's still not their fastest day with Wi-Fi. So you need to remember that. I used WhatsApp quite a bit. And that, if you don't know about that, it's free. It's WHATS and then APP. It's a free app. You can get it, and you can call, talk, or text. You can also take photos on it. But if you decide that you want to make a call, an actual long distance call to the United States or somewhere, you will need a cell phone plan. Because if you do not have one, it could cost you $2,000 or $3,000 for just a few minutes. So you need to check with your cell phone provider about that. If you want to call the grandkids from Egypt and say hi, and you don't want to text them, you just want to call them, then you're going to need a plan. And Verizon has them for between 10 and I think it's about $10 a day. And if you don't call anybody on that day, they don't charge you. T-Mobile, I think it's 25 cents a minute for a call from international. But again, you want to check with them because you don't want that $1,000 bill or 2,000 or $3,000, which often happens. So if you have special needs, you probably have expressed those needs already, and you hopefully have someone that's going to help you and take care of you. Majority of our passengers, our travelers, do not come and have special needs and have someone needing to take care of them, simply because we do a lot of walking. We're up and early, and we're visiting things and seeing things and touring museums and lots of steps and things like that. So we don't normally have folks that come with us that need a lot of attention. But if you need help, you'll find that a lot of the people around you will probably give you a hand if you need it. Something else though, if you have special health concerns or if you take a lot of medications, we ask you to prepare a list of those medications and put it in your carry-on luggage and tell your roommate where it is. So if there was an emergency, we had one lady years and years ago, she fell, and when she did, all her medication fell into the river, and so all her medication was ruined. And we did not have a list for her in those days, and we tried for days to get hold of her doctors in the United States so that we could renew her medication in Egypt. And they thought it was a scam because we were calling from Egypt. They thought it was a scam, so they refused to answer us. Well, we finally got through, but it just shows you that if she had had that list, as we asked people to do, it wouldn't have taken but half a day, and the pharmacists in Egypt would have been able to put all that medication together for her right away. So it's important to remember, because sometimes you don't think those things will happen. It certainly wasn't on our mind that she would drop her purse into the lake and we couldn't retrieve it as fast as we thought we could, and there was all the medication ruined. So please remember, things like that sometimes happen, and make it easy for yourself and those that want to help you. For your travel funds, we recommend you bring some cash. We recommend credit cards. Most of the vendors in the market and other markets will accept Visa and MasterCard. American Express is accepted in the more pricey places, and you will go to some very beautiful, expensive stores that have some beautiful items. And so American Express will be accepted. Discover, they have no idea what Discover is. They don't have any acceptance of Discover. So don't bring a Discover card. Make sure you tell your banks, make sure you tell your credit union, if that's who you bank with, make sure you tell your credit card companies that you are traveling and where you are traveling to. If you wish to have the Egyptian pound, you can ask for it at your bank. Being that you folks are leaving mid-October, I would suggest you ask for it fairly soon, because they can't give it to you over the counter. They have to order it specially. So I would talk to your bank or your credit union and find out what they're going to charge you for that money, if we're getting that money. You can also use ATMs in Egypt, and they will give you the Egyptian pound. Of course, it won't be in any American dollars, but it'll be Egyptian. And they're right by the hotels. And if I remember correctly, they had one on board as well on the riverboat. Okay, so and then all the places that you stop, there are ATMs as well. Your tour director also will be able to show you where they are or tell you where they are. I brought with me about $300 in cash, in euro dollars, or not euro dollars, in Egyptian pounds. And you want to have small amounts, so no larger than $20 bills. You're going to need some of this money for tips to give to folks. And then if you're looking to buy something in cash, some of the very small markets in some of the areas where some of the ruins are will take cash, but they're pretty much all will take a Visa or a MasterCard. Okay. But avoid any big bills completely. Also, you'll want extra $1 or £1 notes, and that's because water is available for you at all times. Obviously, it's a very warm country, and you have water in your hotels as well. And usually, if it's on the bus, they sell the water, 2 bottles of water for £1 or £2. So, or American money, they'll take American money on the buses too. So if you are bringing small bills for that, then you'll have enough for water, because we do drink a lot of water while we're there. So we suggest you have copies of your documents and you put them in your carry-on. So your passport, the ID page, your credit cards, and maybe the phone numbers for the international phone numbers in case you lose a card. We have found the majority of time that people lose their card when they are putting it back in their wallet or their purse, and quite often it happens to be on the bus. And our bus drivers are very, very honest, and they have often found a passport or a credit card or money and have given it back to whoever's it was. So they're very good and very careful to watch and to help you, but you also have to take care of your stuff as well. You don't need a COVID vaccination card at this point. So far, no one in the world right now is asking for COVID shots or boosters or vaccinations of any kind, and the U.S. is not requiring for you to re-enter into the U.S. We still have a bit of time. You never know, CDC could change something, but if there was a change, we would advise both Tish, the Hancock Chamber, and you all immediately. So if for any reason there was a change, we will let you know. But at this point in time, there is no need. Now you can, if you want to, get a vaccination. You should not get it earlier than 72 hours prior to leaving on your international flight. And then obviously you could carry the documentation showing that you are not with COVID. But at this point in time, you don't have to worry about it. There are a lot of people you will see that wear masks, both in Egypt and everywhere else, and the airports as well. It has become somewhat, some folks just feel safer with it, and some use and bring their sanitizing a liquid also. But remember, you want to make sure that it's small enough to get through TSA as well. You don't want to have problems. And then you should bring your travel insurance policy, or on the little insurance card that you get with your lanyard, just write your policy number down there. And should you, for some reason, not receive your luggage, or should you, for some reason, twist your ankle or something like that, or your medication, lose it, then you would be able to claim it on your insurance, and you would have that policy number, and you would simply call their 800 or 888 number and give them your policy number, tell them what's happened, and they will tell you to go ahead and purchase whatever with your credit card, and then they will have you file a claim. When you will file a claim when you get back to the United States. Okay. Does that make sense? Anybody? Can you hear
No,
me?
we got it. We can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you have a claim, what you have to do is you would have to pay for the medical or the clothing or whatever. You call the insurance company and tell them you're going to file a claim and the reason for it. And when you get back to the United States, then you actually file the claim and they take care of it from there. Okay. And they're very good at paying the claims very quickly. All right. So that's how it's done. So here's a list of packing information. I'm not going to go through it. You all can do that. But they say don't pack anything fragile, valuable, or perishable. Obviously, you don't want to pack any. You can pack candies if they're still in their original wrappers and things like that, but I wouldn't bring any cookies or anything like that. You'll have plenty of food on the flight over. And then, as I said, in Egypt, your food is both Egyptian and American style. They have plenty of both for you. So here's a little bit about Egypt. It's the Arab Republic of Egypt, and the capital city is Cairo. The language is Arabic, but a lot of people speak both English and French as well. And they understand it very, very well. And it is Coptic Christian, but also Muslim as well. And it's known as the mother of the world. Obviously, Egypt is in the Bible, it is in thousands of years of history. And you're going to see many things, many ruins that are 3,000 and 4,000 years old and still almost looking brand new. We do ask you to, like any trip, we plan it the best way we can, and we try not to have any omissions or problems, but once in a while something may happen that it's not quite the way we said it would be. Please just give us a moment. We make sure that it is all corrected if that's what's needed, or compensated if that's what's needed. And we also ask you to have a bit of humor. It's always good to have a bit of humor when you travel, because no travel is 100%, no matter how hard we try. Holidays. Friday is the holiday in Egypt. That's the principal religious day. So you'll see some places may be closed on Fridays, but not everything. It's a little different in each part of the world. Depending on what part of Egypt you're in, if it's a small area, it could all be closed up, but in Cairo, it'd be wide open. So it just depends. So with your passport, you do have to, as I said, have that visa, and you pay for it when you arrive at the Cairo airport, and it is $25 per person, and it needs to be in cash and new bank notes, or as long as they don't look like they've been in the laundry 2 or 3 times. And of course, it's American money. So here also for the Egyptian pound is the place where you can decide by looking at this website whether you want to purchase the Egyptian pound ahead of time through your bank, or whether you want to get some with the ATMs. Quite often the ATMs charge 3%, we have found. It may be better to buy from your bank, but that is up to you, and you can get that information over on this website. For tipping, you do tip for a number of things. You tip the bus boys, you tip the bartenders on the ship, you will find that you tip your tour director, and you can again tip in the Egyptian pound, or you can tip with American dollars. Either way, they are quite happy to have it. It also gives you here a little bit of information on, you want the small bills again. 1 and 5 pound bills are good in Egypt. And a lot of times your tour director will collect money from you. So if you are going on a particular part of the trip, they will tell you, okay, we need this amount from everyone, and they'll tell you why and everything else. And it covers for tips. In Egypt, they do it a little differently. Instead of you giving it to individually to each person, they simply collect one amount, and then they share it with everybody that has been in contact with you. And it actually makes it easier. So they're asking for $100 US, you'll see here, per person. And they will collect all of that, and then they split it amongst everybody, the hotel people, the tour directors, anybody and everybody that you will be in contact with. Also, you can, if you go to a separate restaurant or something, they do ask you to consider, again, to tip in US dollars, usually between $8 and $10 per person per day. So the climate in Egypt is warm or hot, pretty much. October, it's not as hot as it could be, and it's generally pretty nice. They will, as I said, if it looks like it's going to be a very hot day, they will just switch the schedule around a bit if it makes it more comfortable for everybody to be at the Valley of the Kings early in the morning instead of in the afternoon, that type of thing. And you can go online. You can go online about 2 weeks or a week before you leave and put in Cairo for the weather, and maybe Aswan, and you'll be able to see what the temperature will probably be like. I took a sweater, but I never needed one. It really stayed nice pretty much the whole time. So water, do not drink. You do not want to drink the local water, and you probably don't even want to use it for brushing your teeth or things like that. So there's bottled water everywhere. It's at the hotel, it's on the ship, it's on local shops. And as I said, it's very inexpensive, if in fact you even have to pay for it. Usually, in the hotel, you might have water in the bar. That will cost you, but they also have bottled water on a desk somewhere in the room, and that won't cost you. Or they might have it in the bathroom there beside the sink. So if you use the bottled water from the bar, the little bar or the refrigerator, because then you will find it costs more. If you just use what they've put out for you, then there's usually no cost at all. So internet is available in the hotels throughout Egypt. It doesn't always get to the guest rooms, but you can use it in the lobby areas. A lot of the newer restaurants in Cairo and the tourist centers do have Wi-Fi, but it's not fast. It's very, very slow. So that is something you need to know. And the county code or the country code for Egypt is 20. And this gives you information on if you did want to make a call, how to do it, how to access the code, and how to follow through with it. For voltage requirements, the domestic electricity in Egypt is 2020 and 2040 volts. And so for comparison, US is 110. So if you're going to use your own volt appliances, the American appliances, you need a voltage converter or transformer. But your appliance has to have flat prongs, okay, that will fit into that plug adapter. I would suggest for curling irons, ladies, you don't bring an American curling iron, or you have time to find out from any of the companies that manufacture curling irons what one you could purchase for international travel and specifically to Egypt. If you take your curling iron and you plug it in, chances are it will melt. And it's not chances are, it pretty much does. So this gives you information about the adapter that's needed. It's a type C. You can get adapters and converters at Walmart. You can get them on Amazon. They're about $20 for the both. And you can check it out. Amazon has one now that has different countries listed with the different prongs, and it's all in one piece. It makes it really easy, both the converter and the adapter. And so it might be something you check out on Amazon. So when you have clothing, layers are best. Again, they do ask that women not wear tight clothing, and shorts are not acceptable in some of the higher end restaurants and things. You need very good walking shoes. You will be walking a lot. You need a hat or an umbrella for a sunshade, okay? During the boat or the river cruise, you will have an opportunity, as I said, to dress up in some of the Egyptian style outfits that they sell. They're not expensive and they're a lot of fun to put on. But they want you to be covered up. It is an Islamic country, so they do ask you to respect that. And I found that, ladies, you can get the loose cotton pants that are they look like they're the wide leg ones in cotton, and they're all on sale around this time now. And long sleeve blouses will protect you from the sun. They don't ask, they ask you not to wear tight shorts, tight t-shirts, that type of thing at all. You can go online and look up a little bit more. We do not go into any of the Muslim churches or anything. So you don't have to have anything for your head. You're not expected to wear anything on your head, ladies. But if you decide, they have beautiful scarves and silk and things like that. You might buy one simply because they're so beautiful. And you can wear them if you want to. But cotton is really good. Long skirts work really well, or long dresses, maxi dresses, those types of things are very comfortable for Egypt. And you always look very nice as well. For your electronic devices, don't forget your batteries if you're taking a camera, or if you need batteries for some of your other items, your iPad, Kindles, those types of things. Um, Egyptians love to bargain, okay? They love to. They don't want to sell you the price they tell you it is. And one thing to remember, that when you're walking along the shops in the market, and they'll be standing, the merchants will stand outside and they'll tell you it's $2, only $2. But then when you get in the shop, it changes from $2 to $5 or more. So remember, only $2 is the way to get you into the shop. Once you're in the shop, they know you'll see something you want, because they have so many things, and they're all made in Egypt. So it's not as if they bought them from China for you. But they are some really, really great things. So you'll enjoy the shopping and the bargaining. Don't take any photos unless you ask first. Okay, so just ask. There are some still groups that Egyptian groups that do not believe in having their pictures taken. But they love to talk. They really do like to talk. And if you start asking them questions, they will tell you all about their country and why it's good and why it's bad, and politics and everything else. And you'll learn a lot from them. So always ask those questions. They're very friendly. Egyptians are extremely friendly. The things you cannot and should not do in this country: no kissing or hugging in public, even on the cheek. It's not acceptable. Um, you don't cross busy streets alone. You never cross them alone. You wait for someone to cross with you, okay? And you look both ways more than once before you cross. They drive absolutely crazy. And you will find that on a 6-lane highway, you will be able to see the pyramids and the Sphinx. You will probably see a teenager boy riding a horse bareback down one of those 6 lanes. You'll probably see a donkey with a cart and having hay or something in it, or milk or something. And on the side of the road, you'll see somebody preparing chickens for people to pick up to take home for dinner. And you'll still have an Audi and all sorts of other top of the line cars whizzing by. This is an amazing country with so many different contrasts you are going to see. So enjoy every bit of it. Also, smoke, you cannot smoke in the street. Women cannot. If you smoke, there are designated areas for you as a woman if you wish to smoke. Some fun facts. They use cosmetics as far back as 5,000 years ago, and they have some beautiful cosmetics if you're interested in buying them and learning more about them. They also were the first to invent writing along with ink and paper. And Egyptians are known to have invented the 365-day calendar and the 24-hour division of the day. So again, a lot that we have to be thankful for from this country. It's a fascinating country. There is some information here about the tourist office in Egypt. We have Adventure World has an office in Cairo. We've had it there for a number of years. There's also information on the embassy if you need to or want to find out about it. And then the hotel you will be staying in here in Cairo is a beautiful hotel. Very, very, very nice hotel. Very luxurious, very comfortable. They'll take good care of you. You do have laundry service if you want to use it for laundry service. Usually, though, they have to have a day's notice for it, but they can do it for you for extra dollars if very quickly if you need it. The Egyptian Museum is 15-minute walk away. The new museum in Cairo is supposed to be open in October. But it's sort of a political thing as well. I was talking to one of my tour guides in Egypt the other day, and he said that they're not sure for sure if it's going to be open yet. But you will anyway still go to the museum in Cairo, and you will again see and have a wonderful experience. You're able to take some photos in some areas, not every area, but you will see centuries old artifacts. Also, you're going to sail on the majestic Nile River between Luxor and Aswan. And this is a first class, it's called the Zen Mojito riverboat. It's very comfortable. It's got international cuisine. The chefs are chefs there. They are really good at what they do. You have staterooms, you have a little bit of shopping places. Everybody has windows to look out on. Bathrooms are very comfortable, very clean. It's a very clean ship. TV, mini refrigerators, international direct dial telephone, climate control for each of your rooms. And then they have all sorts of amenities. It's beautifully decorated. You will enjoy it. You can walk all over it, up and down. And there are no elevators. There are no elevators on this, but it is not such a large ship. It's easy enough to walk up the steps, and they have handrails. And you walk up part of them, and then there's a landing, and then you walk up a few more, and there's another landing. So they have 70 cabins, and they're all decorated with modern decor. They have twin and large bedded cabins also. They can be purchased together. The beds can be put together. A lot of times you'll find that in these river boats. And some of them have sliding glass section doors where you can actually, the water's just right by you. So the hair dryers are on the river boats. It is air conditioned. They have a safety box in there for you to put any your passport if you wish, or anything that you purchase, jewelry. You'll find some absolutely incredibly beautiful jewelry at some good prices. They do have laundry and ironing services, and there is an extra cost, but it's well worth it. And they have 24 hours cabin service. You can order anytime. So this gives you a little bit of information on the decks. The lower deck is with some cabins and the restaurant, and it seats 150, 160 people in one sitting. It's always very comfortable, very spacious. They have a nice reception lounge area. They have cabins and a piano lobby. They also have cabins in the fitness center, a sauna, massage rooms, and shopping. And then the swimming pool and the jacuzzi and the outdoor lounge seating. That's a really nice area. Most of us we're sitting up on top of that deck 5. It was so nice. But there is no elevator. And then internet is available, but again, it depends on where you are on the river and the port that you're close to. So it may or may not be as efficient as you're hoping for. And then dressing on the boat, there are some nights that are dedicated to different nations from Egypt, the different tribes, things like that. So you'll have nice evenings of watching them dance and sing and things like that. And there's an evening for yourselves and to get dressed up and be an Egyptian. And it's a lot of fun. And the pool is beautiful. It's not big, but it's nice, warm water. It's a great way to cool off as well. And they tell you to bring your swimsuit and your pool slippers. So credit
Okay,
card,
we have a question from one of
yeah,
our travelers. So, is there some type of bathing suit that one needs to bring? Like, if you wear a bikini, which I don't, can you wear a bikini?
you can. The younger girls do. Okay, so I guess it depends on what you yourself are comfortable with. I simply wore a one piece, but that's what I always wear. If you want to wear a bikini, you can. You do have to remember though that the women in their country do not wear that type of thing, and so for the men are going to be looking. So if you're comfortable with that, then it's a Muslim country, and there are restrictions, but on the riverboat, pretty much anything goes, and they're very polite about everything. So does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. Also, credit cards are accepted on board. You can settle your cabin bill. You can pay as you go. You can buy the merchandise in the jewelry store or the other shops there. There is no ATM, they're saying, but they have currency. They can exchange currency for you if you want Egyptian pounds for American money. They are able to do that. And they also stop in the different areas. You can get at an ATM by the hotel in Cairo, and some of the larger cities you'll be able to as well. So, and they're telling you here any onboard purchases after your cabin bill is paid, then of course it has to be settled in cash. Here is an emergency contact for the local representative if for some reason you needed it, but your tour director is with you the whole time. So if there is an emergency, usually you'll have their phone number or you'll know how to get hold of them. They're always with you. And then here's Adventurer World. And this is one that you can use only from the United States. So really what it's for is if your family here in the United States or friends or neighbors felt that they needed to contact you for an emergency of some sort, that would be the number they call. And they would then speak to someone or leave a message, and that message would be forwarded immediately to our Cairo office or to Saqqara, and they would then get hold of you. So that is, we had one person many years ago, a relative passed away. And so this number was used to let them know that that relative had
Okay.
passed. Okay, so
So we have
that's
another question. I know our group has been very concerned about access to alcohol. The question is, when you board this boat, are there liquor stores where we can go and get liquor to take on the boat, or do we have to buy it from the boat, or how does that work?
You've never seen a liquor store. They have plenty of liquor on the boat, okay? And the bar is open, the lounge is open all day, okay, and pretty much the whole night. But I will check for you, Tish. I honestly don't know. I never saw a liquor store, but I'm sure there probably are. But I'll find out, okay? And I'll let you know
All right,
tomorrow.
all right, thanks.
So ask them, can you bring it with you?
Can you pack some liquor, bring it with
Oh yeah. So I mean, they can pack liquor and bring it with them in their suitcase.
Liquor with you. Yes, you can. You just pack it in the suitcase that you're checking. So
Yeah.
you should be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so the next part. So your flight information, you have, as I said, you will get your e-tickets and your schedule information. Tish will send that to you. If you have questions or if there's something not right, just let us know ASAP so we can make sure it's corrected immediately. Again, we ask you to be there 3 hours before your flight's departure. And your boarding passes and seat allocations are given at the airport at that time. And so you want to make sure that you can get what you want as well. And then check your airline, the website, for travel regulations or updates. And we are giving you that information so that you can check it easily. And boarding passes, if for some reason you lose your boarding pass, because people do sometimes, it's you go to put it in your purse or your wallet or somewhere or a backpack and you lose it. When you are going to get actually on board the plane where they check you in and allow you to go on board, you can ask for a boarding pass there, and they'll just ask for your ID and they'll pull your name up right away and can print you a new boarding pass. So if you lose your boarding pass, you don't have to go back to where you checked in at the beginning or go through customs again or any of that. Just simply go to the gate that your flight is leaving on, and before they check you all through, you simply go up there and tell them you've lost it, give them your name, and they will reprint you another one. Okay. Here's contact information for you for Lufthansa. There's the service, customer service and the website, United Airlines, Austrian Airlines, and Egypt Air. Okay, so for what I know you have, some of you are on different flights depending on where and how you're doing things, but there are all the pieces of information for you. If you want to try and upgrade the seat that you see you have right now on your e-ticket when you get it, call customer service and ask them. Sometimes they will be able to do it. Sometimes they're not able to do it. And sometimes there's an additional charge for doing it. So just so you know those things. So again, the passports have got to be good. It's actually 6 months from the day. I don't know why it says 3. I'm going to check, but it is 6 months, not 3 months. So there's a typing error there. And it needs to have 2 blank pages, okay? And then again, the airlines are changing all the time. They charge for some things, they don't for other things. Again, it's best to look online and get that information before you leave. Then you won't be surprised by somebody asking you for something that you thought was standard and they would give it to you normally. And their baggage policy also, again, check with them online. Go onto our online and check what their baggage policy is. That way you'll be prepared. Okay, we will, as I said, continue to monitor COVID restrictions if there should be any, and we will advise you as soon as possible. You can get pre-trip testing if you wish, but it shouldn't be sooner than 72 hours before your international departure. And as I said, there are no rules or regulations at this point in time. Some folks wear masks, they like to. It's now very common to see people wearing a mask in all parts of the world. And at this time, they're returning into the US. There are no restrictions. So here's your passenger list. And you, as I said, are sharing with a couple other chambers. And so your chamber and your name, and then it gives the type of bedding that you wanted. So if it's TWB, it is a double room with 2 twin beds, and quite often they push them together for you. So it makes really like a king size bed, but with 2 beds. And we've got a number of you that asked for that. Then a double bed is a double room with 1 double bed. And then single, I don't think I saw here, you have a single, it should be a single room with 1 twin bed. So that's how it works. And they've given you the names of everybody. Again, if there's an error in any of this, let us know and we'll adjust it. Or if for some reason you think maybe you need the twin double where you have the 2 twin beds and they push them together, or they have them separate but close enough, you will you can ask for us and we'll see if we can switch them for you. And then these are
Okay,
the
there's
folks.
also, Teresa, there's 2 people on our list that I don't recognize as our travelers, but I should
Okay.
just tell Natasha this
Yeah.
information.
Yeah. Let Natasha know.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right.
And then, as I said, the Myrtle Beach, I'll be going through everything with them, and Pequot Chamber, I'll also be going with them, going through things with them as well. Okay, so here's your day-to-day departure from the U.S. to Cairo. As I said, meals and refreshments are on board for you. So you'll arrive in Cairo. At the airport, you'll be met by the tour directors. They'll welcome you. They're very friendly folk. They'll get you on the motor coach and they'll take you to the hotel. And if I don't know what time your flight will come in, it all depends. But if there is, usually the hotels check you in about 3 o'clock. They are going to ask you for your passport. The tour director is going to ask you, please give me your passport. And I know the first time I heard that, it scared the daylights out of me. But the hotel has to have a copy of your passport. And that's the law for international travel now anywhere. So if you lose a passport, they have a copy of it. If for some reason there's a problem in a country, they know that you're an American and they can get you out and things like that. So there's for safety as well. And all countries ask for this now. But they will ask for it. They will give it back to you. Not to worry. You'll get it back. But once you get into the hotel, checked in and everything, then the rest of the day is at your leisure. So you can, get together, do whatever you all want to do, unpack for the night, because you're not going to be in that hotel too long, because on the second day you'll go off to the museum and to the antiquities, the Egyptian antiquities. And but then after that, you're going to have a chance to explore some other things. And then that night, you're going to actually stay in Cairo one more night, and then you're going the next day on the cruise. So you've got the first 2 nights in Cairo. Cairo's an amazing city. They've got a beautiful swimming pool there, right there at the hotel. There's restaurants with lots of bars, right? You can walk to them 200 feet at the most. And they include breakfast and lunch for you on that second day that you're here in in Cairo. And then on the fourth day, actually, you're going to have breakfast and you're going to transfer to the Cairo airport and you're going to fly to Luxor and you're going to board your riverboat for the Nile cruise. They'll serve you lunch on board. Your guide is going to then take you on the motor coach and you'll be able to see some of the different temples, learn some of the history about the East Bank and about the different kings and how they governed and ruled. And the tour guides all have degrees from the University of Cairo in tourism. So what they are telling you, each tour guide would be telling you the same thing because they have to pass and do, it's about a 4-year program. So they really have to know what they're talking about. And so then you'll be overnight in Luxor and you will actually have breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the boat. Then day 5, you will tour the West Bank a little bit and the Valley of the Kings, which take your cameras and take as many pictures as you can. It is incredible. And then you're going to see some of the different monuments and from the pharaohs and things like that. You'll go into the underground tombs, and that is it's not claustrophobic. You can stand up in them. They have steps, though. You're going to walk a lot of steps, so you need to be prepared to walk up and down a lot of steps, but they have a railing as well. But it's easy for anybody pretty much of almost any height to do that, so it's not that you're going to be stuck in some small tiny little area as well. They open a number of the tombs up. There are always different ones that they're opening, but you always get to see some incredibly beautiful architecture and paintings and all sorts of things. Then after you've left or right around the Valley of the Tombs, you're going to visit an alabaster workshop, and that'll be part of your cultural discovery series. You'll see how they make these alabaster statues and the beautiful bowls, and they have a shop. It's a big shop, and you'll be able to purchase things if you like. There are all sorts of really beautiful bowls and figurines and things like that you can purchase. Then you'll come back to the riverboat and you'll have a welcome cocktail party that evening. And then you'll be sailing to Edfu and through the Esna Lock overnight. I think they pass around 10 o'clock at night. If you can, stay up and sit up on the top deck as you go through the locks. It's really interesting, really, really interesting. And again, that day you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then on your day 6, it's the cruise. Again, it's breakfast on board. And they change the breakfasts and the lunches and the dinners all the time. There are always new delicacies that you'll have an opportunity to try. And the desserts are to die for. They really are. They have so many different desserts to choose from. It's hard sometimes to stay away from them all. So then you're also going to see some of the other tombs with Horus and the falcon god, and you're going to go to other parts of the entrances of different Egyptian tombs and things and learn about them and the temples. Then you can have lunch on board in the afternoon, and you're going to visit Kamambo, which is a temple, again, a beautiful temple, very old temple. It overlooks the Nile. And there's also places where you can shop. You will find the merchants are pretty aggressive. So if you want something, if you look at them or look at their items as you're walking by, they'll follow you to have you do business with them. So don't always look at everything, or you might find that you'll be broke before you get halfway through the trip, because they will go after you to purchase things. And then you're encouraged afterwards there'll be a party. There's a party after dinner, and you're encouraged obviously to shop and wear some of the different traditional Egyptian garments. It's a lot of fun. A lot of the guys get dressed. It's really neat. And then you're overnight in Aswan, and of course breakfast, lunch, and dinner are included there. And then day 7 is still on the cruise. You have breakfast again, and then you're going to board a felucca, and that is a sailing boat. and again, you're going to go along the Nile, and you're going to see some of the botanical garden. You're not going to stop at the botanical garden, but you'll see it, and they'll sail by it. It's a nice sail. You're gone for at least an hour and a half. Uh, the local merchants also bring some of their goods that they make by hand on board for you to look at. There's some very beautiful pieces of handmade jewelry and things like that, handmade knives, different things for men and for women. And then you're going to go on and see some of the other temples. And then in the evening, they have a Nubian folk lore, and it's Nubian music and Nubian dance. And again, it's in the lounge, and you enjoy yourselves, sit there, have something to drink and some snacks, and watch the dancers. And then on day 8, this is going from Aswan to Cairo again. So more breakfast, and then you go to the dam. It's an engineering miracle. You'll learn about the history of it, the countries that participated in it, why it was built, how it has affected the Nile and the valleys and the farmers. They grow a lot of cotton and corn and a variety of things that you don't always expect from this area, but they will give you the history of it and everything else. And of course, then you will learn more about it. You'll have lunch at a nearby restaurant. It's a delicious lunch. And then those of you, and I think it's pretty much all of you, will return back to relax, and then you'll go on to Cairo. And once you're in Cairo, you have an evening on your own there for last minute shopping or to relax by the pool. And then the last day is day 9. And after breakfast again, you go see the pyramid of Giza. You'll see the Sphinx. You get quite a bit of time to take some good photos and walk around and learn about some of the different things. And then you're going to go to the Papyrus Institute. They have some beautiful art there, beautiful art. If you want to bring some papyrus art back, very beautiful paintings, original paintings. And they'll also take you to another location that it's got a lot of Egyptian things that are more on the expensive side, some beautiful jewelry, things like that. They also have always taken you to a school, to a carpet manufacturing school. And again, if you have been thinking that you might want a carpet, they will wrap it up for you so small that you will be able to bring it on the plane, or they will ship it for you. And they have carpets from prayer rugs all the way up to 9x12 carpets. Absolutely beautiful silk carpets, cotton carpets, all sorts of different types of carpets. And they'll show you how they're made and things like that. So that will give you breakfast and lunch. And then on day 10, you transfer to the airport for your return flight home. It's an amazing trip. I will go every chance I get. There is so much to see and learn. So I hope you all really, really enjoy yourselves. Who has questions?
Okay, David to Manila.
On day 22.
On day 3, October 22nd, he wants to know if visiting the mosque, they have to wear hair coverings or head
No,
coverings.
you don't. No, no. No, you will not have to. But you do go right into the mosque, but there are no prayer services or anything. And you can take pictures in it. They'll explain a lot of different things as well about it. And no, you don't have to.
Okay, any other questions?
That's right.
Well, Teresa, you did a great job explaining everything. It was very informative. And following this call, I will be sending out everybody's travel itineraries. And if you see anything that is we'll include this packet and all of your airline e-tickets and any other information that you need.
And if
I do want to ask about the euro pound. The Egyptian pound. You thought 300 Egyptian pounds was sufficient? Did you back that up with some, like 200 US dollars or?
Take US dollars with me in small bills because I know the tour people, when you pay the tour directors or if you give a tip to somebody, they always appreciate the US dollar. I think it's worth more than the Egyptian pounds, so for them it's worthwhile. I always wherever I travel, I always take American money, but I take it in small bills always. Okay. And you, as I said, you can get in Cairo, and you'll be able to get in some of the larger areas, the at the ATMs, you'll be able to get if you run out of money. And also a lot of times your tour guides carry money on them, and they'll give you a really fair rate of exchange, and they'll give you the amount of pounds, the Egyptian pounds you need for American dollars. So a lot of them actually carry cash on them for that.
So
And
how
the
much-
hotels will change also a lot of times.
300, but that doesn't
I'm gonna probably
sound.
take 300, at least 300 Americans.
So let me just also let you know that Barbie Hass is already on it for next year. She's been talking with some folks at Aventura Travel about a trip to Normandy. I don't know if Barbie, you want to provide an update on what you found out that trip.
Well, right now we haven't really decided on a date yet. We have 3 of them. Teresa might be able to help us with that because she was in that email as well. We have 3 dates that we're looking at. And what this trip does is that obviously it goes next year, 2024 is 80-year anniversary of D-Day. So you go and you walk on the beaches of Normandy. You see where World War II was fought. And you can see all the areas over there. So Mike and I have been there, and it's really a great trip. We really enjoyed it. And the highlight of this trip also is that you get to go going into the Champagne region. And as many of you know, we do like our champagne. So you get to visit that area of France, which I've never been to. So I'm looking forward to that. But we decided to do it in October. Do it in the fall. We have 3 dates in October, 2 dates in October, and 1 is in November. And I think it was like October the 3rd, October the 31st, and then November the 7th. So
That's
depending
correct.
on how many people are interested or not, whatever, we need to figure it out and secure a date and get to talking because I look at trips, we plan trips way in advance. And so we want to be able to plan this trip. And I think a lot of people, they can look at their schedule and mark off days so they're off work that they can go on this trip. Because I think a lot of people would have gone to Egypt had they known about it further in advance.
Earlier,
so
yeah.
That's what I'm looking for, is that we can build up the community of Hancock County and surrounding areas, and we can get a great group together because the group that went to Greece is awesome. We are all friends. We thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. That's why we're all going on this trip to Egypt. And we want to include more people. We want to get more people involved with our travels. So, like I said, the next trip we are planning is Normandy because it'll be 80-year anniversary of D-Day.
Yeah, and it is
Thank you,
a
Barbie.
really good trip. It's an amazing trip, and I'll probably do the trip orientation and have the photos for you and everything. So once we figure out when you want to do that, we'll it might be when you come back right from Egypt. Then we get together and I'll show you all of the I'll do a whole presentation on it for you, and then you'll be able to tell other people and show other people.
I'll be looking at Ireland. So-
Awesome. Does anybody else have anything else to add or questions?
Tish, it's Anita. Do we know when we're flying out at what time of day?
Yes, when I send you this email, you will have your e-ticket. It will tell you exactly your time of departure. And I think it was like 10 o'clock in the morning or something like that when I looked at mine. But yeah, so you'll see that when I send you this email. Anything else? All right.
Thank
World
you.
travelers, unite. I can't wait. This is going to be so
Have a
much
good
fun.
time.
Say goodbye in Egyptian.
Well,
We don't
thank
know
you
how to
all.
say goodbye in Egyptian, but Teresa, great job.
Thank you. We'll talk to you
All right.
soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Talk to all y'all soon. Thanks. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Hey.